station. Just a minute. The screen is downloading. Okay. Station. Okay, now we are on live on YouTube. Good evening, YouTube channel. Today we will discuss about the age of be a parent, the age of be a mother, a father, if there is, because I don't know. Last years, maybe, for example, my mother became a mother when she was 20 years, and I'm 30, and I don't have a kid yet. So maybe there is no age to have a child, to be mother, to be father. It is a difficult choice, I think. So I will put the questions on the chat. Please let me know if you received the questions. Okay. So now we have 10 questions. Marta, can you choose a question for us? You can read, respond, and after choose someone to respond as well.
I'm thinking. Do you think the average of, how can I say, average or average? Average age of fathers have increased in these last years? Why? The question is if the fathers are older to have kids.
Yes, if the age average is about a specific range, you know, a number that is, for example, in this nowadays we have this average, and in the past we had, for example, 18 years to 22 years. Do you think that the average age of fathers have increased in these last years? Why?
Yes.
Andrea, I will put the questions for you again. Sorry, Martha, interrupted you.
Sorry, guys, my connection just failed here.
No.
Thank you, Sarah.
Okay, Martha, can you go ahead, please?
Yes, I think people are waiting more to have kids. They are they prefer to have a job and have money enough to have kids, I think. Before the people used to have babies earlier, I think.
You can choose another person to respond as well.
João, what do you think?
I agree. Not only the average age of fathers have increased, not have increased in for a long time, not only in the last years. I think yeah, I think it has been that like for almost a decade. Not only that, but also the marriage, the average age of marries. I think it increased too. Like I see that people in the past used it to marry in a very young age, and nowadays they are they are stabilizing their lives first, and after that they are getting married or or having kids and etc. I think it's because I don't know. I think it's because the economies in Brazil, because like in the past we use it to be poor. We use it to be more poor than we are today, like in Brazil in the past, and we use it to have like we use it to have a. I don't know if it still exists, but I think in the past people used it to marry like in front of the judge, like with 15 years old, and it was normal in that time. It was normal like in the 70s, in the 80s. It was totally normal to marry like if 15 years old, or I don't know if it still exists, but if it still exists, it is changing. And I choose Andrea.
Yes, I totally agree. I think nowadays people are waiting more to marry it, to have kids. Even there are people that don't want to have kids like me. I'm 44 years old. I can't see myself like a mother. Yeah. So I think I don't have time because 44 years old, yeah, I will turn 45 this year. So, but I don't feel sad because of this. It's my choice, it's my opinion. And I think there are many people like me, and because of the job, people prefer having a good job, make the life first, uh, after have a kid. I think that's it.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Andre. Maybe it is a position of the person don't want to have a kid because I think that it is a huge responsibility. Nowadays, we have to spend a lot of time on the education and uh, keep up with the kids, the growing uh, in the subjects of the school and the education of the life. And it's so hard nowadays because, for example, in my case, I'm afraid about the relationship of my kid. For example, I teach the good way to follow, but at the school, other kids, other friends influence in other ways, and maybe the things uh, go out from our hands, and this is that one thing that I'm afraid, but it's difficult, and I think that this is I think that a lot of people are thinking about nowadays. And other things is, as João said, last years, some years ago, it was normal to marry yearly. Nowadays, we have a worry about it. We think that it is a kid, it is a teenager that is growing yet. And we think about the money as well, because all things are so expensive. Even you have a baby, it's so expensive to provide a good thing. I forgot the name of this place, but the school for babies are so expensive, and we are afraid as well to let our kid, for example, with a strand. So, guys, there are a lot of things that we could think about it, and I think that these things are influencing on the increase of the age, the average age of fathers. So that's it. Andrea, can you choose another question for us, please?
Yes. I will choose number 3. How old your father was when he had you? Is the same age you think to have a son? No. First, I will change for my mother because I don't have father. Oh my gosh, I have father, but I didn't meet him. So my mother was 18 years old. And when I was 18 years old, I had a pavor, I don't know how to say, a pavor, in get pregnant. I think I always have this problem because I had much, I had much, no, I had no. I'm much afraid to have a baby, and because of this, I will postpone, and I am 44, and now I don't have, I don't like to, I don't care. Yeah, I don't want to have a baby in with my age. And you, Marta?
My parents, they were very young when I was born. I don't know exactly the age, but I think they got married and they got married 18 years old, and I think they waited about 3 or 4 years, and then I was born. I think they were very young to have kids. I had my first son with 26 years old. I think it's a good age to have a baby.
And you, João, what do you think?
Uh, I'm doing the math here. I think they were in, I think they were about 30 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he because my mom is 6 years older than my father. So it's different, but if I put together things, I think they were in about 27 to 33 years old when they had me. And yeah, I think that's all the question.
Okay. As you said, guys, my parents were too younger when we when I was born, and in the same time, in that time, for example, my mother was 18, 19, I think. And in that time, when I was 18, 19, as Andrea said, I didn't like, I wouldn't like to have a baby, and I was not prepared, and my mind was not developed enough, and it is not the same age that I would like to have a son. So, João, can you choose another question for us, please? I don't know if João. Okay.
Well, what does it mean? Please present yourself for everybody. Yeah. Okay. I get it now. You was the first one when we were okay. Present yourself. I was thinking about a present. Okay. What are the advantages on being a younger father? I'll choose this one. It depends how young we're talking about, because if it is too young, you are not fully, you doesn't fully have a life yet. You doesn't fully have a job or education to provide to feed your food, your family or your babies. So who will food it is it is your father or your mother. So if it is 20 years old, I think the advantages is that you will be closer to your children, because you you will know more about the trending, you know more about what were happening in that age, because you just passed through it. So it was not a long time ago. Yeah, I think that's a good optics about being a younger father. I saw, I've seen some moms and some fathers having good time with their children, because they are more related, because they are like 20 years of difference, or maybe 10 years of difference, 10 years of difference from each other, difference in age. And you, Sarah?
I think that when we think about in general, when you when we have a younger father, the person has more energy to run after the kids, to wake up early. I think that the person has more patience, is patient with the situations. And when you are older, you have more experience on life to educate, to teach the good way, to teach, for example, a faster way to achieve something, and maybe when you are older, you can provide some things further than you could provide when you was younger. But I think that there are advantages in both situations. I think. And you, Andrea, what do you think?
Yes, I am thinking because depends on the how younger will be the father, because probably if the father was 15, 16 years old, it's not good because they don't have a job to sustentar, I forgot the child. But in the other hand, we have more energy to create the child. But I think we need to find a balance. I don't know. I think it's a good time to have a child. It's 25, 26, like Marta. It's a good age. And when we are old, I think we are more prepared to grow up the child. Yeah, that's it. I don't know if you understand my idea. And you, Marta?
I think, as you said, when we are younger, we have more energy to take care of the kids, to travel with them, and if we have kids when we are old age, I think we will not enjoy the time with the kids, because we don't have energy, and we don't want more to, I don't know, to go out and travel. You don't have more energy when you are old. I think that's it.
Yes, of course. I totally agree with you guys. So, Andrea, can you choose another question for us, please?
Yes. Number 8. Do you have brothers and sisters? Which are the good and bad things to have one? I don't have brothers and sisters, unfortunately. I'm an only child, but I remember when I was younger, I asked a lot to my mom to have another baby, but she can't. And I would prefer have a brother than a sister. I don't know, because I think I match more with men, with boys. I always be like a boy in the street, like to play with Playmobiles, with toys, with toys that boys like to to play. And you, Sarah?
You are saying, and I remember that I always asked for my mother to have a brother, a man. I have a sister, but as you said, I would like to have a brother. And my mother, no, never. Stop the creation here. And I have a sister, and yes, it is good to have a sister. It is a person who grew up with me. She knows my bad and good things of my personality. But as I said, I would like to have a brother. And nowadays, I said to my mother, please, I don't know the name in English, but maybe, oh my goodness, even in Portuguese, I forgot to, how can I say? Adotar. And a brother, because I like a lot. I would like to have a brother. But which are the good and bad things? Yes, it's amazing, but it's interesting. When we was child, we think that our sister will take all of things of us, and my sister didn't let me to go out without her. She always would like to be with me in all places, and my mother said to me, "You will go out if you leave your sister." And I cannot go out in a lot of time because of my sister. And I had nervous about it. Nowadays I laugh a lot, but that time it was bad, so bad. But it's to understand the process and to understand, to divide the things, divide the time. Yes, I
You
think
are
that
younger.
no, I'm the older, the older.
Oh.
My sister is younger, and maybe we are laughing here, but if I had two daughters, for example, I will do the same. You will go out if you leave your sister. And we cry a lot. Why, mother? Why? So that's it. And you, Martha, what do you think? Do you have a brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have one brother and one sister. I am the oldest, and I am 10 years older than my brother. And my sister is 1 year and a half younger than me. And I am more close to my brother. I think our relationship it's good, but with my sister we are not so friends. We are very distant. But I think it's very good to have brothers and sisters. It's important. I think when we I'm sorry, my English is so terrible today. I think I'm tired.
No problem, dear.
Mine too, Marta.
Mine too.
Yeah, that's it, guys.
But just a point, I have two friends that are so close to me than my sister. So I consider them two sisters because we grew up together and they understand me a lot and I understand them a lot. So I think there is a phrase on Bible that says that there are friends that are more close to brothers and sisters. It's something like that. And I think that is true. You can find a friend or even husband, your husband, or a friend that is more close than your own sister or brother. I think I think that is true.
Yeah.
And you, João, what do you think?
I have a sister, and it's yeah. I think our relationship is very good. There was times when we weren't so good. Wasn't so good the relationship. But nowadays I'm very grown. She's not grown yet, but she's passing through it. And I think it's very good to have a sister, and it's very good. Even sometimes it's very stressing. It's very good to have a sister. It's very good to have a brother too. For example, my mom, she she has three sisters, no, two sisters and one brother, and she 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 gets along more with the her brother than her sisters. She gets along more with them, with he, and yeah, I think it's good to have brothers and sisters to support.
Yes, and this your opinion, João. Let me remember. My father has, let me see, six bro- eh, five brothers and three sisters. There are a huge family, and they passed a lot of difficulty in that time. So there are a lot of people to support, and it's so difficult, I think. But nowadays, my father talks with all of them. It's good. It's good to see. And now I will choose a question for us. Uh, okay, question number 6. There, it is an interesting question because it's about what do you think about education? In your opinion, is easier to educate a son nowadays or was there in some years ago? So guys, in my opinion, depends. Nowadays we have a lot of access to information, to technology, and we can learn, for example, from home. We can teach our kids from home, and we can find a good material at internet. And these things were not possible some years ago. But in the same time nowadays, it's difficult to control this access. For example, my cousin has, I don't know, he was 9 years, I think, and he didn't let the video game. So it's hard for my uncle to remove this kind of thing. And at the same time, some years ago, I think it was difficult to access information, the good information, the current. In the same time, for example, something happens on the other side of the world, we know. And some years ago, we didn't have this same opportunity. So I think that it was more difficult, but in that time, for example, I gained my first cell phone when I was 15 years. And I grew up without this kind of technology. And I think that it was good for me. I don't know. And I think that the huge access on technology could promote anxiety, other things, and distraction on the people. But there are advantages and disadvantages, I think. And you, Martin, what do you think?
I think it's a difficult question. As you said, technology is good, but at the same time, there is a disadvantage. So I don't know if it's easier or not easier. I think I didn't live 100 years ago to say how it was. So I think it's difficult to answer. And you, Andrea?
Yes, a hard question. But I think nowadays it's more difficult because we have the technology. It's it's so big that we need to pay attention with the kids is watching on cell phone, for example. The kids has that has 5 years old, it's already on the cell phone. And in the past, with 5 years old, we are playing with dolls, with boneca, I don't know, I forgot the name. And I don't have kids, but I remember when I was a child, I used to play volleyball, to play on the street. And nowadays we see the kids only on the computer or only on the cell phone. There are the reason that nowadays is more violent than in the past. But I don't know, I think it's hard nowadays to deal with a lot of things and create a child. And you, João?
I I completely don't know. It has some pros, it has some cons on creating raising a child nowadays. Uh, yeah, I think if we look not so long ago, it was better to raise a child, like in the 80s or in the 70s. But if we look way more back, like in the centuries ago, I think it was pretty hard to raise a child. Like the medicine was very poor, the education was very poor. It was very private and selected just to, yeah, if you were rich, I think it was good that time to you raise a child as it is today. But yeah, it's more difficult to create a child, to raise a child nowadays than it was 50 years ago, or like in the 80s, or then it was like life was, I think life, I didn't live there, but I think life was more easier. Life was easier at that time, and there we we had we had less problems than nowadays to care about when creating and when raising a child. And nowadays we have more problems to care about, and not only in the internet, but I think in the violence and, yeah, the violence and how to educate your children. You need to take new boundaries to educate nowadays. And in the past, the past they used it to use the playbook to educate the children. But the playbook wasn't so good. Like we have very bullies, and we had very bullies, and we had a lot of, I don't know, discrimination. But there were some value things there. And was I the last one?
Yes, you was. You were. And to conclude our conversation in a faster way, Andrea, do you think current fathers are prepared for educating children? What do you think about it?
My gosh,
Mm,
difficult question. Mm. Even I said that I think it's more difficult to create a child nowadays, but at the same time, I think the parents are more prepared because, as I said before, they were waiting more to have a kid. So I think this connection to being prepared in their mind, it's help in this progress to create a child. Yeah. And you, Marta?
I think yes. If we think some years ago, only the mother take care of the kids. Now the father helps a lot nowadays. I think they, can I say, dividem o trabalho? They divide the work. So it's more easy to educate a child. They are more prepared, I think. And you, João, what do you think?
I get a little bit lost. What was the question?
Question number 10. Do you think current fathers are prepared for educating children?
I don't know. It's very hard. It's very hard, these questions, because I've seen some fathers being very reckless with their children and being very irresponsible. Like, I'm not trying to school them or educate them, but I think it was very wrong sometimes. It was what I've seen. And I also have seen other that were doing a pretty good job creating and educating their children, like giving everything. But nowadays it's very hard, because not only education it's the answer, but because sometimes you give the most wonderful education in the world, like for your children, but they still get mistake. They still get on something, on some, I don't know, in some sort of bad things, or sometimes it's the friendship that carry the kids to a very good path. And sometimes it's the internet, as we were saying. We can access everything in the internet, like we can access the good things in the internet and also the bad things in the internet. So in general, I don't think they are so prepared to educate. I think in general they are very lost in these times. They don't know how to act, how to educate with the advance of the internet, with the advance of, I don't know, Nagiri, paper, and etc. And they are getting lost, and they are losing the battle. I think we need to recreate the book to education for kids.
Yes, it's hard to answer this question because we can think of in general, but it is specific for each family how they are trying to educate, and it's so difficult. We need to pay attention that I think that is so difficult to educate a kid. We have to be patient and to support, to go ahead day by day. So it is not the easy way, I think. So guys, I think that we are concluding our meeting. So we have a survey about how TNT is working. So it's a survey that we would like to understand how the meetings are doing. And if you have some advice for us, some comment, please let us know. And of course, it was a pleasure to be here with you. Always is a pleasure. And I wish you all a good night, a good weekend. Please came back to this meeting the next Wednesday. I will wait for you. And that's all. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Spend your time with me in this meeting. And thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sarah.
everybody.
Thank you, guys. See you on
Bye-bye.
weekend.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.